Did you hear that? Hear that? Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm gonna start it. Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our technology webinar tonight. We're glad to have you. We're going to give just a little bit of time for people to continue to join us since we just opened up the webinar. We've got Alex Braun, who is our National Technology Chair, with us tonight, and he's going to give the presentation and share where we're headed for the future. We're really excited about the future of our NATRC's technology. And with that, Alex, I'm going to let you go ahead and give your introduction and take it away.
Sounds good. Well, as she said, I'm Alex Braun, the technology chair, and just excited for some of the things we've got planning to come. Uh, I've been involved with NATRC for a handful of years, I think since probably 2019, so about 6 years now. So I've had a good experience with multitude and management and things like that. So have a good feeling for what we're going to be doing with the future of our technology. All right, we'll go ahead and get started here. Um, so any questions that you may have as we're going along, feel free to put those into the comments and Sarah will curate those at the end. So hopefully if I don't answer anything throughout this talk, we can get your questions answered all at the end. First off, for the overall project costs, we've broken this down into three different phases. Phase one, which is the website refresh, the cost for that was $2,500. Phase two, for the new ride management system, is $30,000. Phase three, the digital scorecard, is at $35,000. And then equipment, changes, and overages, $10,000 is allocated for iPads and equipments, and $22,500 for changes and overages, leading to an overall project estimate of $100,000. While we hope to not have any changes or overages, we're just planning that some may occur, and so we're not surprised if things do occur. Project funding plan. So we currently have an ask out to our membership for a total of $65,000. We have $17,000 that the board has allocated from the NATRC Foundation for a total of $82,000 funded so far. And we will address any future needs for overages in the future. Like I mentioned, we estimate about 20,000, but we're confident we can have a plan in place should we need to do that. Currently, we need to get to $12,000 so we can begin working on phase two. We are currently at $11,000, so we are only $1,000 short of our goal to begin that work on our new RMS. And for our funding, we do have a few different levels for our donors. Just a few ways that we can say thank you for your donations. So our bronze level at $100, we will give you a NATRC bumper sticker. Silver for $1,000, you'll have the above plus etched NATRC wine glasses, as well as an invitation to the 2025 National Convention Donor Appreciation Dinner in Austin, Texas. Donations must be received by January 19th in order to be eligible for that dinner invitation so we can make sure we have proper reservations. Our gold level, which is $5,000 and above, will also include a NATRC logo gear leather jacket. Our platinum level, which is $10,000 and above, You will also be entitled to a lifetime individual membership. Should you already have one, you can designate that lifetime membership to another user or to another member. And all of your donations are also tax deductible. We are a 501c3 organization. And if you have any questions about your tax deductible donation, you can talk to Chris Gray. Up next, we have our estimated project timeline. December 21st, 2025, we are planning to release our phase one website. So far, it is looking in great shape. We just have a handful of changes that we need to make, little tweaks to improve the website before we give our final release. In January 2026, we are hoping to start phase two and start working on our new ride management system. October to November 2026, we will plan to release phase two. We would like to have the ride management system complete for the 2027 ride year. December 2026, we would start phase three on our digital scorecard. And then October to November of 2027, we would like to have phase three completed and ready for our 2028 ride year. This is our best guess timeline. And while we would like to have our releases done for these, if something is not ready, we will not move forward with that release and we'll postpone likely until that next ride year because we want to make sure we provide the best overall experience to our users and make sure we are ready to go. Some of our overall goals for this project, our infrastructure that we have now is currently aging and it's getting more and more difficult to maintain. Our current website, while it works well, it does end up costing us quite a bit of money without any additional benefit. So we should be able to save a little bit of money on our website, as well as set us up for the future of integrating the ride management system and digital scorecards in the future. Our goal is to also provide improved functionality and user experience. Currently, there's a big disconnect between our main website and the ride management system with signing up for rides. Things can be kind of confusing for understanding whether you've fully signed up for the ride, and management can struggle with payments as well. So that's another thing we would like to improve. We also want to improve our processes so it will turn around for awards at rides and also have faster ride results and standings after the rides. We also want to have one unified platform so we will no longer have a separate website and ride management system. All right, phase one, which is the new website. The website will go live on December 21st, 2025. Most of our pages will appear very similar. There may be some experiences that may not function as well previously, but we aim to have those updated and improved over time. One of those is we will not have individual logins to start. Instead, members will receive a password that can be used on those password protected pages. But the goal is to eventually give everyone a login that will integrate with the website and with the ride management system. Phase two for the ride management system. Currently, RMS is getting more and more difficult to maintain, and there's only one person who can do that necessary maintenance. There's also many features that we would like to start adding that the old system cannot support. So by going to this new platform, we can start from the ground up and rebuild with these features and quality of life improvements we'd like to do. Phase two will begin once we receive at least $12,000 in funding. Again, so we just need $1,000 more in order to hit that goal. That's easy enough. 10 people, $100, and we would be at our goal and we can start working on the next step. This will also give us improved administrative functions, making things for our ride administrators to set up rides, manage rides, as well as a lot of the back office tasks that uh, can be very, very time consuming. And I believe a couple of our administrators are stepping down at the end of this year. And so that will make it a lot more difficult to get some of these done. But by having a new ride management system, we can aim to make some of those processes much, much easier. We would also like to improve the collection of ride fees, make it easier for our riders to pay, as well as for ride managers to collect their fees, as well as for national to collect fees from those ride managers for that. Also, improve our ride reporting. Right now, it can take us a while to collect from the time a ride is done till those results get submitted. We can have quite a lag to get those into the system. So we aim to improve those processes so we can get faster ride results and decrease that amount of time after a ride. We also hope to provide better communication through the platform. So for ride managers to easily send out an email to all the people that are attending the ride, any volunteers and such, so we're not having to maintain different lists and things like that. And then phase 3 for the digital scorecard, we are aiming to have this be an iPad native application, and it will fully sync with RMS. So as you get ride registrations in, we can pull those registrations in and auto generate those scorecards. It will also be a fully offline application, as we know that there are many locations where there is little to no cell service, making that very, very difficult to have an online process. And so, with that, being able to generate final ride results entirely offline. And then once those rides are done, being able to bring them online and submit those results back into the ride management system. And we also aim to improve the accuracy since it will allow for auto tallying of those results. We're no longer prone to math errors and things like that. So with that, that's kind of our overview of what we are hoping to accomplish with our technology upgrades. So if you have any questions, please do put them in the chat. Sarah, I don't know if you have anything you would like to add in the meantime.
Just to recap some of the functionality issues that we've had, especially as for members and management, none of our systems communicate. So when it comes to the membership and membership renewals, right now we have to update essentially at a minimum 2 different systems and up to 3 different systems in order for membership to reflect accurately. So when that doesn't happen, there's disconnects. And with this new system, everything would be under one roof. And as you know, members now have to have 2 separate logins. They have to have a website login, and then they have to have an RMS login. This would eliminate that. So everything would be under one roof. Therefore, it just makes more of a seamless service for our members, ride management, and it'll be a lot easier for everybody. So that's part of the push to try to especially get RMS going, and the administrative side of things with management and the communication piece there. It will also allow management to process their major forms through the website much easier. So sanctioned applications, progress reports, all of that can come directly through the website, and they can pay their fees. Everything would be very quick and easy. Okay, we got some questions coming in, Alex. Dannon asked, will riders and horses get a permanent number so tracking is easier? Just as a
Yes.
clarification, do you mean like an actual, like a membership number and then like a horse ID number? I'm assuming if that's the case, yes.
Yep.
Alex, if you
Every
want to.
single horse and user will get their own unique ID on the back end, so we can distinguish. Like I know oftentimes you've got a horse that's like Daniel 1, Daniel 2. So we shouldn't have that in the future. We'll have a unique ID number for every single horse and every single rider to distinguish. So also things like name changes. We know life happens. So if somebody's name changes, they'll be everything will be tied back to a that unique ID number. So when a name change happens, all we have to do is update it in one spot and it will flow through everywhere to the scorecards that we're seeing, to your profile, everything like that.
Okay. Um, Fran asked, will the system offer a seamless registration from the listing of rides to the registration of a ride?
Yes, that is our goal 100%. So the goal is when you go to that ride page and see all the different ride listings, we would have a register now button. You'd click that, it would pop in, give you all those options to sign up, and especially make it clear. We know it's often not clear now, like where you're at with the status. Uh, so that would make it a lot easier there.
So I'm going to skip down. Fran asked a clarifying question about regarding the numbers, and she asked if that meant keeping the same number for the ride. Do you mean competitor number, Fran? If that's the case, that's a totally separate thing. We're just talking about a membership ID number and a horse ID number that's unique to you and your horse. That would never change. That would be separate from a competitor. Like if you're number 12, like
Yep.
say you purchase number 12 for the season, that's a completely separate thing, if that's
Yep.
what you were asking.
Yep, it looks like that. So yeah, your rider number for the weekend is entirely different than your user ID.
And then Pam asked Alex if you could explain a little more what you envision for the digital scorecard um, done on the iPad. And will judges and secretaries be entering observations directly onto the iPad? And will there be no more paper scorecards? Essentially, how will that work?
Yes. So we still have some vision, or we still have some things we need to do to figure out what that ultimate scorecard experience will be. But we'd like to get RMS finished first. But kind of my vision is there could be a couple of different ways that you can use it. I know a lot of judges typically have notepads and they like to have a shorthand that they kind of write down on the trail. Um, and that could work. And then when you get back to the truck or wherever, then instead of handwriting on the scorecards, you could input those directly into the iPad. And there may be some judges that would prefer to input directly to the iPad instead of taking those notes and transferring. But uh, once we get there, we hope to have some in-depth discussions with a variety of different judges and see what kinds of workflows may work best for them to make sure we're providing a good input experience for everyone involved.
And Aaron asked, will the mileage from a specified date be posted with riders to reflect their previous miles from years past?
Any data that we currently have in our database, we're hoping to be able to integrate uh, what that I'm not sure what that looks like at the moment and what kind of records we've kept in the past. But as a data analyst for my day job, the more data we can have, the better. I would like to keep any little piece of data that we can have so we can create better reporting overall and give more data to our riders.
And Rebecca asked, what differences are there for ride managers using this new RMS for 2026? Will there be a super user per region to direct questions?
I'm sure we will keep a very similar format to the way we've done, at least in terms of like those super users and having regional admins. Uh, we're working very closely. I know Ruth Mesmer has done a ton of work with Region 6, as well as the national admin. So we're planning on using her to help get a great management interface put together.
Uh, I'm not sure what the name is. It says Perry or Pari. But will competitors be able to pay directly into the RMS? And would deposit payment be required in order to register for a ride? And how would monies be transferred to ride management?
Yes. So the goal is to pay directly through RMS. And for money going to ride management, we still need to discuss with our developer how that will go. My goal is to have any funds be sent directly to the ride manager. So that way you would have those funds right off the bat. And then as far as any national fees go, once the ride is complete, we would then be able to generate. So we currently do have our fee schedule and fee reports that we run, but be able to automate that process. And with that, we would then basically send an invoice to the ride manager for them to pay in order for national to get their fees. So that's how I have it envisioned in my head. We just have to talk with our developer and see how that would work in actuality. So just because money going directly to national, we would then have to try to issue funds out to ride managers, and that would make things a lot more difficult on our end. So if we can get the money directly to the ride managers and do an invoice, that would be much simpler.
Part of the goal too is to make sure we have a system of accountability to where right now we kind of have a problem with ride managers not always getting those deposits or not getting fees at all. So we want to make sure that a registration can't even be completed without that deposit, at least the minimum of that deposit. So that, and same thing with even with a sanction. So the ride, for example, would not be sanctioned. The form could not be submitted for a ride sanction without submitting that payment. So if your ride is sanctioned, because your payment gets submitted at the same time. So there's no more that disconnect of the sanction form being sent in. It's just going to make everything a lot more seamless for administrating all of our rides, as well as the process for ride management, making sure that they receive money from riders that are registering for rides. So that's part of that process too. Fran asked, "Do you think we will be able to pull up a horse's miles without scrolling through everybody's horse?"
Yep.
Yes.
I would like to have a horse profile for every user. So, like, if you've got 5 horses listed in your profile, you'd be able to go in, you could see that horse, change aspects of it as needed, and yeah, things like that. Being able to pull up scorecards by horse, miles by horse, and things like that.
Aaron asked, "Once the site is up with member numbers, will we be able to search our own data without a long, without looking at a long list like we have now?"
Yep, that is the hope. Again, with more data flexibility, we should be able to do those things a lot better.
Anonymous attendee asked, "Are the iPads going to be where judges can put in their own words, or is it going to be a multiple choice on observations?"
Again, that is something we're going to have to talk about with our judges about how best to approach that. Uh, I envision kind of a mix of both. Like my chiropractor uses an iPad application, and within there, he's able to create buttons and things like that, where you can just a one-touch button and it automatically puts in a big long or it puts in whatever comment for that button. So I kind of envision something like that where a judge could preload if they've got a whole bunch of codes they like to use with specific wording that they could touch that button and it would automatically enter for it, but also give you that ability to enter those typed comments as well.
Those were discussions that we had had because, some as a judge, there are times where we might already have a comment that fits, and we can just hit that code and have that pre-filled, and it can go straight in and save a lot of time. But as we know, sometimes there's not something that fits what we're looking at, and we have to create that specific comment that goes in there. So we do have to have the flexibility to be able to word something in a specific way. So yes, there will have to be that flexibility in wording for those, even for the electronic scorecards. So Mary Alice asks, you may have covered this with Rebecca's question and I missed it. Will new RMS be available for any of the 2026 ride season?
It will likely not. We may end up doing some testing towards the end of the ride year for 2026, probably with just Region 6 rides, since that's what I will be available for testing. But the goal is to not be widely available. It will not be widely available until at least the 2027 ride.
Okay. Fran asked, but would it still be up to the ride manager regarding deposits, whether they are required or not?
If that's the desire, then yeah, we should be able to make the flexibility of how much and whether deposits are required.
Dannon asks, is this going to make it easier to input rider information and be able to update information for ride secretaries?
Yep, that is the goal. So when we pull, again, going back to those individual unique rider and horse IDs, so with that, we'll be able to pull in that horse's name, their breed, their age, all that pertinent information that you'd fill out the scorecard, the rider's name, rider division, all that would just be pulled in from RMS. And so it would make filling all those things out a lot easier.
Sally asked, how is it planned to handle distribution and maintenance of iPads for electronic scoring?
Great question. All of the iPads are planned to be quote unquote owned by National. I believe we are planning on having 3 iPads for region, one for vet judge, one for horsemanship judge, and one for leisure judge. And we will handle those items. We may introduce, we briefly talked about this, we may introduce adding like $1 fee per rider, perhaps. We don't know what it will look like. We have to discuss that a little bit, but uh, we do plan to have kind of a refresh cycle in mind as they go to, again, to handle the maintenance if something gets damaged, things like that. And we'll plan to keep Apple Care on them as well, just to make sure we're covered as best we can.
Rebecca asked, on iPads, would an out-of-region judge need to preload their smart phrases in advance of a ride outside of region? Will the iPads be able to hold that much info? So basically, how much data can the iPads hold? So if it's holding numerous judges' comments.
That'll be something we'll need to discuss with our developer how that works. In general, things like text phrases don't really take up a whole bunch of space. So most of the base level iPads, I think, should be sufficient for holding that data. And we may be able to integrate that with the website too, to give judges a spot to maintain their lists. So that's some things we can talk about.
Rebecca asked, with only 3 iPads per region, what happens when technology fails during a ride with half the scoring on the iPad? Any way to retrieve the data and go paper?
We do intend to have paper scorecards as the backup. And that may be a good reason for judges in their workflow to take notes on a piece of paper and then transfer into the iPad. That is definitely a great thing for us to be thinking about as we move forward.
Pam asked, what is your confidence level on being able to raise the 100,000 needed for this project by 2027? This is a huge expense for such a small organization like NATRC.
Yep, and it is a huge goal. So one of the things, so for RMS, that part of the project is $30,000, which honestly, RMS is something we definitely need to move forward on because of the aging infrastructure. And right now, it's the core of how we function. So without RMS, that will create a large issue for us being able to actively manage and move forward with our rides. For the digital scorecard, that is something that we hope the membership, it's something we've been hearing from membership that it's something they really, really want. And so we're confident if that's something that they want, that they will be willing to donate and push for this project to move forward. And the way we've structured our project with these three phases is that each one can be handled independently and they're not, well, they all build on one another. So the new website can stand alone on its own. So if for some reason, if the membership decided that they did not want to move forward with RMS, we have a new website and it will be able to function better and be cheaper than what we currently are doing. Then we can layer in RMS, which will improve functionality for our ride management overall and user experience. And if the membership did not want to move forward to digital scorecard, we don't necessarily have to uh, because it's built entirely independent of RMS. So the digital scorecard would be reliant upon RMS to continue. So again, uh, listening to our membership, this is something that we've been hearing over and over again that they want, and so we're leaving it up to the membership to show us that they want it. So, Sarah, any other
I
thoughts on
no, I think you covered that
that?
well. Yeah, I mean, we were careful to make sure that the phases could be independent and build upon one another. So if we were not able to continue with the phases, it wouldn't affect the fact that phase one would still be complete and usable. And then if we were able to raise the funds for phase two, phase one could still be complete and usable. Um, it didn't matter if we were able to continue into the next phase or not.
And the other important part with that is all of this, we own all of this 100%. With Coreware, they had their own proprietary website and platform. And so we were kind of beholden to them for what we currently have. But with this new site, it is on a platform that is completely independent of our developer. We have full confidence in our developer to be able to do this, but should something happen, should things change, we could pick up with a different developer if needed. But it was important to us this time that we own everything that has been done and not be reliant upon the developer.
Okay. Aaron asked if a judge has their own iPad, will they be able to upload the judging scorecard onto their own device?
Yes. So the goal is to have the iPad app be available generally through the App Store. So if people do have independently owned iPads, they could use that if they would like. Um, but we would, but we wanted to make sure we were providing iPads for the regions as well. But that is definitely a great option for backup if the judges do have their own that they are willing to use.
Pam said, I agree that the upgrading of the RMS is necessary and should go forward, but the large expense for the digital scorecard seems daunting. So not really a question, just a statement. Sarah asked, is there a system for transferring the iPads from ride to ride?
For that, it's probably going to be up to each region. I know for Region 6, at least, we have a core set of things like the ride vests. Those manage to get from ride to ride somehow. Often it's figuring out if the next ride manager is going to be at the ride transferring. So it's it's going to be within the region to make sure things do get transferred to each ride.
Dannon asked, any plans for fundraising raffles or such within the organization, maybe at convention each year?
Right now, we laid forward our current fundraising plan. I can go back to those. And so this is what has been approved by the board for us for donations. Uh, but you are more than welcome if you would like to contribute in things such as a raffle. We would more than gladly entertain ways for however anybody else would like to raise funds.
Rebecca asked, have you considered all weather conditions with the iPad use?
Yes, we'll make sure we get some good cases that are good at repelling water. I mean, obviously, if you drop it in a puddle of water that gets fully submerged, that may not go as well. But in general, for rain, they do make so like OtterBox makes very good, very watertight cases that we would get for the iPads.
Sally said, just a thought, will the iPads be able to work for all judges interchangeably? I.e., if a leisure judge or a leisure ride had two judges due to the number of riders, will two of the iPads be capable of being an LED machine? Or would one an iPad be capable of handling horsemanship and LED? So like, or the universal.
Yep, they will be. So the way I envision it, there will you'll pop into the main ride interface and you can pick whichever scorecard type you would like or position, things like that.
Anonymous attendee asked if a region wants to donate a sum of money towards the digital scorecard, is there any thought on what may be offered to the regions? Um, this would be probably a question for the board. I don't think it's something we can answer tonight, but it would be something we'd have to take back to the board to answer.
Any other questions? I appreciate all the questions so far. They've all been great and
Yeah,
hopefully
a
they're
lot of awesome
helpful for
questions.
you.
Rebecca asked, just a comment, maybe consider offering an option on every ride entry has an add-on to donate $2 or something.
Uh, I mean, I think that's certainly an option for ride managers to help promote. And I think it'd probably be up to them more to add that on if they would like.
Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Right.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you get a lot of value and a better understanding of what we are hoping to accomplish. Again, we are just shy of our goal of $12,000 in order to start phase two. So if we can just get a handful of you who showed up tonight to donate a little bit of money, let's make our $12,000 goal and get started on this next phase. I'm really excited to get started, and I know our developer was excited about this overall opportunity as well. Here's a couple of quick questions. Sally Kudra asked, is there a plan to run electronic with paper parallel to begin? Yes. Again, a lot of this, since I'm in Region 6, we will start with Region 6. So I'm there to help troubleshoot and evaluate the process as we go. But yeah, throughout that 2027 ride year, when we're hoping to release, is when we will uh, likely be dual keeping those scorecards. So, all right. Oh, Pam, thank you. How do we donate to this project tonight to help meet this $12,000 goal? I can't believe I didn't even think about that. If you go to natrc.org/donate, there is in the drop down, there should be a spot for you to donate to the NATRC Technology Fund.
Yeah, there's a specific in the drop down, it specifically says technology fund. Make sure that's the one you select.
Yep. So can we donate less than 100, like during renewing? Yep. I believe the donation form is very flexible. So just enter the amount you want to donate, and every little bit will help going towards this project.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I think I can hang out for a couple extra minutes if somebody has a question they'd like to throw in, but otherwise, Thank you so much, and looking forward to moving forward with this project.
Yeah, thank you all for attending. Appreciate it. Doesn't like we were gonna have any more, Alex.
Yep. So, all right. Well, thank you everybody for joining. We'll see you later.